I'm starting off by pressing my tofu, and this is the tofu press I got from Tofu Future. I'll put a link to, below to where you can actually get this from, but they're not the cheapest, it's about £25, but if you're in the market to get one, I do recommend it. So here we have the tofu, and we're just going to crumble it off. I'm only using half a block because I've got a few different elements to this, so I don't need to make too much. So I've just reserved the other half of the block for something else. And I don't know if you can pick up on camera, but it's really firm. If you don't squeeze out the water, you'll find that it's really spongy and it doesn't take in as much of the flavours that you're trying to get into it. If you don't have a press, you can wrap it in kitchen towel and put it on a plate, and then put a plate on top of it, put some books or tins on top, and then you can get the liquid out that way. Some people even put it in the oven to dry it out, but just go with whatever works for you, whatever suits your budget and lifestyle. Okay, so that's all done. I've left it nice and chunky. As usual, we'll be starting off with coconut oil, and to that we are going to add some chopped onions. Now we're going to add some thyme, garlic, chilli. There's a tiny bit of habanero pepper in there, dried one. It's a tiny sliver, you can barely see it, and a tiny sliver of Scotch bonnet. I want them to add flavour and not spice, so I'm just adding a little to it. If you like more, add more. I'm going to add a little turmeric, some mild curry powder, and here I'm adding a tiny bit of garam masala, little paprika. Give that a stir. Now to this, we're going to add a tiny bit of soya milk, just to give it a little creaminess. I'm going to add a bit more chilli because I want a little kick to it. I was sent this to try them out, so I'm going to give it a go now. And that's just a lightly seasoned tofu scramble, and then we're going to go into the next component. And you want it on a fairly high heat, not so hot that you burn them, but you're going to pop them by giving them a good amount of heat and just cooking them really. Right, so turn it up, I can hear it starting to sizzle. And I love this because it's so simple to make, but you can add it to so many different meals. You can make it, have it as a snack, you can add it to salads as part of a main meal, a nice bit of carbs, and it tastes great. other beans as well, but I love butter beans. And I'm going to do it quite dry, but you can do it dry and then throw in stuff like chopped tomatoes, other veg in that. And with this one, you freestyle your favourite type of herbs and spices. That is absolutely fine and nice and brown, crisped up, popping open, absolutely perfect. And as I said, you can add kale to this, tomatoes, mushrooms, anything you fancy. Let's turn this off, let's set the fire alarm off again. And that is your popped butter beans. Okay, on to part 3. It's basically some leftover potato, which I've mashed. I've added a bit of salad cream to add a nice little richness to it. You can add like oat milk, whatever you fancy. I've got the pan on. I'm going to chuck in some onions. I've got red and white ones here. And you can leave that out, just preference really. I'm going to fry these off. I'm going to keep the flavouring this simple, just want to enjoy the potato for what it is. I'm going to add a little bit of salt just to bring out the flavour of onions. I'm going to add some lazy garlic. As you know, I love my garlic. If you don't want it, just leave it out. And that's what that looks like. I'm cooking these high and fast. I want them slightly caramelised, but I just want to get a little bit of flavour into them. You can add spices, whatever you fancy at this stage. I'm sure I'm going to set the fire alarm off again. I'm going to add a tiny bit of vinegar to my onions because I find it brings out a nice sweetness to them. You don't get the vinegar taste throughout the meal, it just brings them up a notch. Right, to this, we're going to chuck in some steamed Savoy cabbage, and you can add any green veg or any veg you fancy. Set the fire alarm off again. Going to get a little bit of flavour into the cabbage. I'm going to add a tiny bit of black pepper. I'm rushing this part because my memory card's filling up. I need to swap it over. Just a little bit of black pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast. That's just to add a little background note to it. You can add that into that mixture or into the potatoes, whatever you fancy. Okay, that is fine. I'm going to add a tiny bit of plant milk to that. We're going to take this fire off for a moment. Add a little more salt. So now we have our mashed potatoes. Just going to swap those around. And we are going to add that mixture to the potato. With that, all we're going to do is give it a nice good stir through, combine the ingredients. Here I've got some tomatoes. Get a nice quality one, you get a bit of flavour from it. And yes, you guessed it, a little bit of salt. A generous helping of pepper. And I better hurry up or they're going to start steaming underneath. And we're just going to pop that in the oven. You can grill it or bake it, but you get so much more goodness out of tomatoes if you heat them slightly. I forgot the word for it, but it increases something in there that's good for you. And I'm going to add, just for a little bit of flavour variation, when I find it, oh, I don't have it. I've got basil, oregano and parsley. Add a tiny bit of oregano. Pop this in the oven. Alright, I'm happy with those because all we're doing is crisping on the edge, just a bit of variety and texture in there. If you want them crisp all the way around, then you'd make them smaller and you can just tuck them in the oven. Alright, I'm going to take these out and we're going to crack on with the next stage. Finished article. We've got our salt and black pepper grilled baked tomatoes. We've got our tofu scramble. We've got our mushrooms. We've got our potato bubbling squeak cake thing. Then we've got our popped butter beans. And just to make sure no one goes hungry, we've got some, this is Polish sunflower bread, and they make some of the best breads ever. We've got avocado, nori flakes, alfalfa sprouts, some black and white, what are they called? Sesame seeds, and some Korean chili pepper. And it's just to make it a nice complete meal. So it'll keep you going, if you have it in the morning, it will keep you going as a full dinner. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoy. And give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Ciao.